Welcome back, everybody, to the Moon Series at the Collinsville Regional. I am Rosemary, and I'm joined by John this time.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah.
First time I'm appearing on stream here at a regionals level, no less.
Same.
Super excited to commentate here. I always have the greatest respect for all the casters who casted all my matches ever since 2014. Just a super interesting kind of like, different stance to take since I'm usually out there on the players' field. But today I'm behind the desk here. I hope to bring you some quality commentary to, cast this match. But we're going to have round 2 coming up soon.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to have Justin Crubaugh versus Leonard Kraft III. So really, really heated match there. They're both well-known players, very accomplished. And I believe they had some history from last year at this conference.
They do have some history. So this is actually going to be Justin Crubaugh's redemption arc, if you will. So, he is a very accomplished player, right?
Mm-hmm.
But Collinsville is a missed opportunity for him. He missed cut last year. Leonard Kraft was able to get there. So Justin Crubaugh is absolutely looking for revenge here, looking to make his mark in Collinsville. And that's going to be by doing well here today.
That's right. And, Justin hasn't been super active recently with all the locals in the Midwest, but still a very accomplished, decorated player. Mm-hmm. I roomed with him a couple times in some past tournaments. Really nice guy, super passionate about the game, practices a lot, so his results definitely show that. And I'm excited to see him back on the stage, playing round 2, so, stakes aren't super high yet, but let's see if he can get kind of that early lead, early snowball in this tournament, especially since, this tournament is actually one of the first tournaments that you can qualify for the North American International Championship stipend. That period has started since the Australia International Championship ended last weekend.
Mm-hmm. And that period is going to continue up through Berlin. So we have about a month for these players to earn their stipends to the North American Internationals. And those are going to be hosted in Ohio this year.
Yeah, they released that like a couple of weeks ago, I think. I'm sure as for a person from Indiana like me, I'm a little disappointed that I have to travel a little further,
Yeah, but not too far.
Yeah, it's been there before,
central.
and I've been there before. It's a pretty nice area. A lot of restaurants, but they all close really early, so super unfortunate if you're a foodie like me. But what can you do? At least there's the grilled cheese place, always popular.
Well, there you go. Yeah. Then you just gotta go to Columbus and eat a lot of good grilled cheese.
Yeah, something like that. Although I gotta cut back because recently, since I'm getting older, I hate to say that, it doesn't even look like I'm that old, but I've been eating less and less because my stomach just can't handle that capacity anymore.
It happens to the best of us, but who is ready to go? Probably these players pretty soon.
Yeah.
So we just got off of a round 1 between Whitney and Andrew, and we saw some interesting Pokemon choices brought to the table. Mm-hmm. So we saw Togekiss on Andrew's side, and we saw an Excelgor on Whitney's side. So talk me through some of those choices, and do you expect to see some more of those?
Pretty uncommon choices from both. I think Togekiss is pretty strong, but in that matchup in particular, you didn't see it do a whole lot because, Kartana kind of just shut it down with the Smart Strike. But Excelgor, also pretty uncommon. Very fast Pokemon, often paired with Tapu Lele or some sort of terrain to take advantage of that Unburden ability. But anyway, those Pokemon being rare, but they're still viable. So I think as far as rogue picks kind of like that go on through the rest of this tournament, I think we will see some of those, show up. I'm not really sure if Leonard or Justin are running anything. We don't have info on their teams yet. Justin is more kind of like a standard player, so we may not see anything too wild from him. Mm-hmm. He's more about I'm going to play it to the best of my ability to win using the tools that I've got. It doesn't matter whether I can take the surprise factor or not. I'm not too sure about Leonard. I don't know a whole lot about his playstyle. I just know he makes a lot of kind of off-the-cuff content on his YouTube. Does a lot of research on the game's mechanics, so if you're new to the game, you can definitely check him out. He has a lot of cool stuff. I think the recent one he posted was how Victory Star works. Too bad that won't be that applicable, but for those of you Victini heads out there, that's definitely interesting.
Yeah, and unfortunately, we're not going to be able to see any of those restricted Pokemon because during this series for Moon Sun, and of course Ultra coming up after April 1st, all of those mythical creatures are kind of off the table.
Yeah, we don't make the rules, obviously. That would be Pokemon Company International, but they always choose to kind of, ban the ones that seem to be distributed by events.
Yeah.
Whether there's an actual reason for that or anything is beyond me. Of course, I'm not an international Pokemon Company International employee, so I don't have that info. But we could assume that if they were allowed to be used, that they could be pretty potent forces. Now, we are going to get some info on their teams as we go into team preview soon here. All right, but players just setting up here, getting into position. Justin donning that classic cap that we see him don all the time.
I'm super excited to see what these players are bringing because we just saw some incredible gameplay between Andrew and Whitney. Whitney, of course, winning that series 2-0. I just think that he ended up having some pretty incredible just thought power behind the choices that he made. So not only for his leads, but also when he was going to make his switches into what, saving those weather bodies for the very end in order to have that in his favor, really played out well.
Yeah, definitely managed that weather really well, and even took advantage of the fact that he thought his opponent was thinking he was that Choice Scarf variant, and taking advantage of that in the last game to kind of put himself in a better position. Not great, but Precipice Blades happened, and unfortunate.
Missed.
Stolen game, as we say, but 85 accuracy is 85 accuracy. And if he had a fire move, probably should have used that one instead. We'll never know, of course, since it's in the past. But
yes, and we're going to be getting into this one very shortly. Again, just as a reminder, it's going to be Leonard Kraft versus Justin Crubaugh. We're just getting all of that set up for you, and then we're going to go into game as quickly as possible because I know you guys are here for the action. You're not really here to hear us speak. So hopefully that's going to be soon. Looks like we're going to go ahead and get started. So looking at team preview here, we are going to see that Leonard Kraft is going to bring Sarina, Stakataka, Lunala, Incineroar, Xerneas, and Smeargle, whereas Justin Crubaugh is bringing Xerneas, Incineroar. So we've got a couple of the same Pokemon already on both sides, Groudon, Amoonguss, Smeargle, and Tapu Lele. Talk me through this matchup and essentially what you think is going to be the mons that stick out to you the most.
Okay, well, they both seem to have this Xerneas mode with the Smeargle, Incineroar, Xerneas. Very popular mode, of course. Kind of protect the Xerneas style of gameplay. A lot of players in the Sun and Moon formats have definitely noted that Xerneas is a very strong pick, as it still has access to the tool that made it deadly in previous formats, that Power Herb Geomancy. And, there's not any Mega Evolutions, and, we just have Z-moves now, but even some Z-moves can't get through that special bulk it gains from using that Geomancy. And Smeargle and Incineroar both are great supports. Smeargle in general, infamous for that Moody, as well as, past formats it had access to Dark Void. It still has access there, but can't use it anymore since it's been kind of blocked from using it. Darkrai wants it back, and he's not letting go.
So, this is the first time that these players are seeing what the other trainer has brought. So, if you're Leonard, what are you looking at as a threat on Justin's team? And if you're Justin, vice versa?
Yeah, for Justin is packing that Amoonguss, which is definitely a good pick to kind of threaten Leonard's team. He doesn't have any terrain to kind of stop that Spore from happening, as well as, Clear Smog threatening his own Xerneas' stat boosts, and Rage Powder, of course, we saw that in round 1, being very much what an Amoonguss does. As far as what is threatening and what their game plans could be, Justin has a Groudon, whereas Leonard has Lunala. And Lunala is often known to carry Psych Up to steal Xerneas, or I guess not steal, but copy the boosts and kind of help out its partner, although it can definitely steal opposing Xerneas boosts as well. So we might see that come into play. Very commonly carries Lunalium Z for powering up that Moongeist Beam, so I wouldn't be surprised to see it here either. But it's going to differ in how they carry their other Pokemon around to kind of get their Xerneas in position. Stakataka definitely threatens Justin's own Xerneas, but Justin's got that Groudon, a very threatening Pokemon to Stakataka, so I would also not be surprised to see Groudon getting brought to handle that Stakataka.
So you don't usually see Xerneas and Groudon coming out as a pair, though. Usually you save Groudon on the back, potentially try to get the one-up in the weather matchup or the terrain. So, you know, how do you play that? I guess we're going to find out, though, because we're going to be getting into game as quickly as we can.
We'll see how they lead, but we might see some familiar faces come out here on Game 1 as they try to feel each other's game style, what their game plan is. And from Leonard, who's on the bottom screen here, we see Smeargle and Lunala.
Interesting.
Whereas Justin will be also leading with Xerneas, but changing it to be Tapu Lele as the partner there.
Well, I like the Tapu Lele coming in, or any of the Tapu Pokemon to lead, because you start with that terrain, and you get that on the field, and essentially, you know, try to utilize that in your favor. So, you know, Justin's in an interesting position here with that Xerneas. Do you think he's going to try to go for a Geomancy here with what Leonard has on the board?
Yeah, for sure. I think Xerneas is in a decent position, as Smeargle can't really do anything here other than maybe put it to sleep. So that's definitely an issue there. But here's the taunt. I was about to mention that before it went off, but taunt definitely just going to stop Smeargle from going for any of its shenanigans, as Geomancy here going to pop off and give Xerneas that coveted +2 in 3 of its stats.
You know what would be really crazy is if Leonard was able to read that Geomancy was going to happen, and if they are running Psych Up on that Lunala, actually ends up Psyching Up here to copy those stat changes.
That would be pretty wild here. Let's see what happens with the Lunala. It's actually just going to go for the Moongeist Beam, probably into that Tapu Lele. Doesn't want to deal with you know, the boosted Psychic Terrain, Psychic damage.
No, definitely not. And that's going to do a bunch. Oh, that's going to be a one-hit knockout there. So Tapu Lele already off the field for Justin. And then leaves Justin in a bit of a pinch. That terrain is still going to stick around for a little bit. But there's that Moody Boost coming into play that is classic for Smeargle.
Taking an early loss on turn 1 seems like kind of bad, but you know, it gives Justin a free switch to, you know, another Xerneas support. And, you know, Lunala did not get to copy those boosts. So Xerneas here is looking primed to do some damage, you know, starting with Dazzling Gleam or Moonblast. As Incineroar comes in, gets that Intimidate drop, very inconsequential.
Yeah, it's not going to do a whole lot to these special, you know, damage dealers. But, you know, Incin coming out, you do have a lot of potential for Incineroar on your team just as a support Pokemon. And a lot of people end up running Fake Out. So, you know, maybe going for a Fake Out here onto the Lunala or the Smeargle. I feel like Justin so far has been focusing a lot of attention on that Smeargle to make sure that it's not being a problem.
Right. It's, yeah, you usually think that Incineroar coming in and then using Fake Out is the first thing to do, but right now Psychic Terrain being up means Fake Out can't actually, you know, work unless it's on a flying target. If you see Smeargle come out, of course that makes sense since it just got taunted, and comes in with his own Incineroar to get that Intimidate. Still not super relevant, but it will weaken that other Incineroar on Justin's side just a bit.
Yeah, and that the Incineroar coming out from Leonard is going to be full strength still, but another Moonblast. Ooh, that's this time from the Xerneas.
Really
is gonna
big
find,
damage.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, Psyshock from Lunala is going to target that physical defense, so not super affected by that defense there. Snarl coming out, going to take the knockout from Lunala, so didn't get to show much of its move kit, didn't even get to show if it had the Z Crystal. That's going to be kind of important since that was one of Leonard's main damage dealers.
Yeah, so what does Leonard really have left? We're gonna see that. So Leonard's done a pretty good job so far of not showing all of his cards. So I'm not really sure whether or not he's gonna come back out with the Smeargle. I don't really ever see Smeargle and Incineroar kind of working together. But you know, maybe bringing out his own Xerneas. Maybe we have Stagataka in the back. We still don't know what that fourth Pokemon is for either player.
Right. I think Smeargle coming in is definitely a little strange, like you said. There's almost no damage to be had there. I guess Incineroar has a little bit of damage, but I think it is going to be that Smeargle coming back in. So maybe Leonard has a plan to maybe put that Xerneas to sleep, or maybe try some other shenanigans with the Smeargle. We'll just have to see what else he's loaded up that Smeargle's moveset with, since all we saw was Lovely Kiss on that turn 1.
Yeah, we haven't seen a whole lot from that Smeargle yet, and so that can be pretty scary, knowing that Smeargle is another one of those tech Pokemon that can run so many different things. But, you know, look at that. Looks like running a focus sash here on Leonard's Smeargle. So that's a really interesting piece of information to know. And hey, Justin's instant is taking a nap.
Yeah, definitely getting smooched by another dog. Maybe made the cat go to sleep here. As a U-turn from Incineroar, going to get the switch initiative. Probably going into Leonard's last Pokemon, which I probably would assume is Xerneas. But of course, it could be anything. We don't know yet. But I would be kind of hard to imagine he did not bring one of the most important tools on his team. He's still in a precarious situation though, with only 1 HP on Smeargle and fully boosted Xerneas, still on Justin's side, still happy to fire off those attacks on all of Leonard's Pokemon. Leonard's going to need to get that momentum back quick if he wants a shot to stay in this game.
Yeah, we're actually seeing him take quite a while here to decide what he wants to do. Doesn't seem like there would be a whole lot of time, but you gotta figure out what you want to do. Both players taking a lot of time to think about their next move, and I love seeing that from either side. But Justin is looking to be in a driver's seat right now. We are going to see Leonard's fourth and final Pokemon. It is going to be that Xerneas that you talked about. So it's going to be a battle of those beasts. But Justin has the upper hand here because that Geomancy's already gone off, and it's been very useful.
Yeah, we could see the Moody happen as well, but that boost for the end of that turn was not super helpful to Leonard. So if he wants to kind of cheese the game with Moody, he will have to protect his Smeargle a little better. I do think a Follow Me, as Smeargle usually carries that to support Xerneas, especially in restricted formats or pretty much any format, I think will allow him to get Xerneas set up safely, although he will still have to take some damage. It may come down to how much damage can Justin get off onto Leonard Xerneas to set him up for the end game here. I don't know how long the Incineroar will be asleep, but it's been sleeping for one turn at least, so we'll see. But no, we're just going to see Moonblast go straight into Xerneas, and that's unfortunate for Leonard. Probably trying to call the Dazzling Gleam and hoping to get a little greedy here. Ooh. That lovely kiss.
Yeah, that's going to be both of Justin's Pokemon right now taking a nap. But that's might be it. I mean, it's going to be Leonard Smeargle against the world from here on out.
Yeah, we still have Incineroar in the back, but, like I said before, Incineroar not known for its great damage output. No. In fact, I think most Incineroar in this format, as well as the Sun format, don't really run too much attack investment there, so they're not trained to be, straight-up attackers. More like pivots or supports. But we'll see if Leonard gets a little lucky with the amount of sleep turns he gets here with Lovely Kiss. As well, he's just got the evasion boost with the Smeargle, so maybe he can cheese out a win that way.
Yeah, we'll see what's going to happen. Both of the players ready to go for their next move. And Justin in a bit of a pinch because both of his Pokemon said, hey, I've worked hard. I'm ready to, go to sleep. And it looks like that Xerneas is going to continue napping Smeargle. Locked into Lovely Kiss so far. So it's just, I guess, trying to bait whether or not either of these Pokemon are going to wake up, but that's going to be Incineroar waking up and also being taken out of the fight. So Leonard only has that Incineroar left.
Yeah, it is not looking great, especially as Groudon comes in here with Drought, although that's not the important part. The important piece is that, Brown super effective against fire, and Incineroar here has already been a little damaged. Flare Blitz is going to take out Xerneas, so, got rid of that threat that was set up on turn 1, but at this point in the game, you've got only one Pokemon left, and you're right outside that berry range if you do have the berry, and, Incineroar's just going to come back in, have Fake Out, especially since the terrain just fell off, so this is looking pretty much like game for Justin here. Probably going to think about moving on to game 2 with the last few turns of this game.
Well, if you're Leonard, though, I feel like you play this out in order to maybe see some of the moveset of the Groudon. But I guess when you're talking about what Groudon might run, I mean, Precipice Blade's pretty standard choice there. Protect is another standard choice. You don't really need to know too much, but there are always some surprises that might come out. So we're just going to see that, Leonard is thinking about whether or not they want to forfeit or get some more information. But moving forward, because it kind of looks like we already know the outcome of this match, what does Leonard need to do in order to adjust to Justin's strategy?
I think Leonard allowed Justin to have a little too much room with maneuvering with Xerneas there. Perhaps wasn't expecting taunt from Tapu Lele, and we saw that Tapu Lele actually went down on turn 1, but I guess it didn't matter because it kind of did its job already at that point. So
very true.
For Justin, I'm sure he got enough mileage out of Tapu Lele. We don't know any item, only that it just got, destroyed by a Moongeist Beam in turn 1. But, I think Leonard needs to account for a bit safer way of handling that Xerneas setup and maybe getting his own Xerneas up a little quicker. Since he didn't even get a chance to kind of set it up, he was kind of, willing to make a trade, I think.
Yeah.
A trade that I don't think he could afford at that point. But, it is game 1, so he's going to have another game. Beauty of best of 3, of course. So we'll see if Leonard changes any approaches here. I think his 4 were fine, but maybe Stack Attack coming in might be a little better over one of his support Pokemon, so to have more of the damage generation as well as speed control.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the order, especially when you're looking at a Xerneas matchup when it is so kind of like Xerneas and Incineroar focused, is whoever gets their Xerneas out first tends to have the better setup for Geomancy, unless the other opponent is able to kind of read that and redirect it. But it just looked like Justin beat Leonard to the punch there, and that Xerneas was able to kind of run amok with that big boost coming out from that Geomancy. So we're going to see now in the second round of this matchup between Leonard and Justin what those leads are going to be. And Justin now this time going to be leading with the Smeargle and the Incineroar, and Leonard going to match that with a Smeargle of his own and the Lunala again.
Yeah, so double Smeargle and no Psychic Terrain means I think they both have options to use Fake Out if they carry it. It is a common move to have on Smeargle. Of course, if you have access to the entire list of moves in Pokemon, Fake Out is definitely one of the most centralizing double format moves to be picking on. And Smeargle has a whole list of other moves. We saw Lovely Kiss. I don't think we really saw much else, though.
Nope.
Just Lovely Kiss, huh?
Yeah.
So, maybe in a bit of an affectionate mood today, as we can see by all the heart emojis in their names.
Oh, yeah.
It looks like the other Smeargle on Justin's side is going to set up Crafty Shield. This move stops all status moves from affecting your side of the field. It saw some use in 2016, but it's not going to stop that damage.
Oh, man. Yeah, so that Focus Sash is going to allow Justin's Smeargle to hang on, because that Crafty Shield didn't affect what Lunala was going to do. You're going to see that both of Leonard's Pokemon are also going to take a special attack drop, as well as some chip damage there, and the Moody Boost coming out for both Smeargles.
Yeah, Justin getting a speed boost there might be really crucial, since next turn he might be able to just go for the Lovely Kiss, and if he targets that other Smeargle, can definitely just put it to sleep, especially since they just got an evasion drop. I'm wondering if Leonard might be also packing Crafty Shield. It's been rising in popularity recently. Definitely a great move, limited to only 2 Pokemon. Smeargle is one of them, of course. And, that special attack drop, definitely crucial, but more importantly was the chip damage it gave to both of Leonard's Pokemon. No longer having Shadow Shield or the Focus Sash for the Lunala and Smeargle, respectively, means that they'll be much easier to take on later in the match. So I think Justin is just kind of preparing for the long game here.
Yep. And so Leonard is preparing for it as well, going to preserve the Lunala for future use, bringing out their own Incin, and it's going to create attack drops on both sides for Leonard's Pokemon. And now Crafty Shield coming out. Interesting. So now we know that both of these Smeargles are running Crafty Shield, huh?
Yeah, that's right. And we do see U-turn from Incineroar. Great move, going to give Justin the opportunity to switch into a more fitting Pokemon for this scenario. Even though, Justin led Incineroar Smeargle, it definitely has those damage generation issues that I've mentioned in the last game. And, I think Justin's ready to just get his Xerneas in and start setting up.
Yeah, I think it's time.
Oh, and Justin getting another great boost in evasion.
Wow.
Taking a speed drop, getting the boost on turn 1 means that doesn't really matter too much. And getting another evasion boost with Leonard as well, trying to match, but only at +1 due to the drop he received the previous turn. So both Smeargle being a little dodgy, but you know, that Smeargle on Justin's side has that opportunity to go for Lovely Kiss and, you know, keep Leonard's Pokemon pressured. And it'll be interesting to see if Leonard will allow that pressure to get to him if he tries to do anything other than Crafty Shield. He does have Fake Out on the table, so Xerneas isn't quite yet ready to set up, unless, you know, Justin calls it and goes for it anyway. But we'll see what players choose to do. The Smeargle is at 1 HP, so if Leonard chooses not to Fake Out, he could get KO this time.
Oh, but that Crafty Shield coming up for Justin's side and a Crafty Shield from Leonard's side as well. Both of these moves are going to get off before either Xerneas or Incineroar are able to do anything. That Geomancy, it's coming up, and it looks like Incineroar is not going to be able to stop that. And we might see a repeat of round 1 here now that Justin's able to get that Xerneas set up.
Yeah, a little later than turn 1 for sure, but, you know, both players afraid of Lovely Kiss. They don't want their Pokemon to go to sleep. Very debilitating status. U-turn going to miss the opponent Smeargle. That's very unfortunate, and it puts Leonard in such a bad position right now. Xerneas on the other side, ready to go. Getting a speed boost, but maybe a little too late here, especially after missing that Smeargle. If that Smeargle had been, you know, knocked out by the U-turn, then it frees Leonard up to go for a Lovely Kiss, but even at +2 speed, Smeargle is going to probably underspeed that Xerneas, and Xerneas will be able to take it out before it gets to do anything. So we're going to have to see how Leonard digs himself out of this one, but it is looking bleak.
Yeah, it is, but you're going to see both players kind of laughing at the situation. I think Justin laughing because that was such a good turn in his favor, and Leonard laughing because that was just comical. You know, when do you miss a U-turn onto a Smeargle that's at 1 HP? But you're going to see that Justin's Smeargle just staying alive in order to get that Crafty Shield up one more time, finally going to find that mark there with the U-turn. So Leonard's Incineroar going back, and that Smeargle gonna be the first blood of this fight.
Right, and it's actually interesting to note. It's even made more comical by the fact that Leonard's Smeargle actually dodged that Moonblast. Skillful dodge, even only at +1 evasion. That's still enough to make your opponent miss. So this might be a good opportunity for Leonard to get in his own Xerneas and set up, and that is what we see coming in Xerneas here. Got a little more time to make up because of that expert dodge, and we'll see if Moody can be kind again, and it is! Wow. More evasion for Leonard's Smeargle, so we could see very well a turnaround, especially since Justin lost his Smeargle, so there's no Moody from his end of the field, but, you know, Moody's still alive and kicking on Leonard's side.
And you're rolling some really good numbers, too, if you are Leonard and that Smeargle. But now we're going to see Justin filling out the field with the Groudon that we only got to see briefly during round 1. So we're going to be able to see just a little bit more of it now, being Justin's 3rd Pokemon to hit the field. So we got that weather up. We've got that sun raining down on this field, and that's going to put a lot of momentum into Justin's favor, especially because the Geomancy is still up, that Xerneas is still on the field. You think Leonard's going to respond by trying to buff their own Xerneas?
Yeah, there's a lot of pressure offensively coming from Justin right now, and you can tell because he did not bring in Incineroar instead. Here's that Moonblast into Xerneas. Perfect read by Leonard as Lovely Kiss going to go down, put that other Xerneas to sleep. He may be boosted, but every good deer needs their nap time, all right?
Absolutely. Oh, and a substitute coming out from the Groudon.
I really like that play.
I like it.
So for Justin here, it not only protects him from the threat of Lovely Kiss now, but it also means that should Leonard go ahead and set up his Xerneas, now Justin has that extra layer of protection to stop the damage. And, you know, Groudon with substitute has been seeing some use. And we'll see how Justin uses that to his advantage.
Ooh, we're going to see another move coming out from Leonard Smeargle. So this is the 3rd one that we've actually been able to see get revealed. It's going to be Wide Guard coming into the mix with that Lovely Kiss and Crafty Shield. And there's that Geomancy coming out with that Power Herb. So that's going to be an immediate boost for that Xerneas to match the pressure coming out from Justin's team. But that other Xerneas is asleep. But what is this? This is our first Z move of the day, and it's going to make its mark on Groudon. So Groudon getting charged up with its Z power, and it's going to be fully unleashed. There's that tectonic rage. Where is that going to find its mark? It is on that powered up Xerneas, taking it straight to the core of the earth.
Classic. It's going to be something we haven't seen in a while, but it is a common item for Groudon. That's just going to take it straight out. No worries here. Must be super souped up Groudon here. I would not be surprised to see if Justin chose to train Groudon all the way in attack, just to knock out the threat of charged up Xerneas.
I mean, it did its job. Yeah, I think that Justin set that up very well too, because that substitute put that Groudon, like you said, out of range of getting put to sleep, out of getting just taken out of the fight before it could get that Z move off. And what does Leonard have now? Leonard does still have a damage dealer, has that Lunala that is coming back on board, and this is going to be the last couple of Pokemon here for Leonard. But a Moonblast coming out into that slot is going to take that out as well. Ooh. And Justin is just rolling all of the numbers right now.
Yeah, really unfortunate for Leonard. He needed a couple more sleep turns on that Xerneas so he could have that opportunity to maybe come back with Lunala. I don't know if he has Psych Up or anything, but if he had Psych Up, that was definitely the opportunity to use it. Especially since Xerneas is still at full health. This is not looking great. Groudon behind a sub, and now you're left with a cat and dog and nowhere left to run.
Well, what you do have if you are Leonard, you have a very evasive Smeargle that might just take you to timer if you're able to play this right. So we'll see whether or not those Moody boosts are in Leonard's favor.
We see the forfeit.
That's the forfeit.
That's going to be game 4, round 2. Justin kind of, cleanly taking game 1, and then game 2 had to work a little more for it, got a little unlucky with the Moody boosts even, as far as Leonard's boosts go. But, able to take the set. Two great players. I'm sure they're both having a ball. They're both laughing all over it. They understand this is a game with, especially if you're running Smeargle and, Lovely Kiss, there's a lot of luck involved. So I'm sure there's no bitterness between the two. It's still very early, so we can see both of them make the top cut throughout the day as well.
Yeah, we talked about this a little bit before, but let's mention it again that we are doing 7 rounds of Swiss today here at the Collinsville Regional, which means that players can lose a round, or they can lose maybe potentially 2 rounds and still top cut tomorrow during that portion of the Collinsville competition. But Justin came back with a vengeance. This top cut has been elusive to him since last year, was unfortunately not able to make it to day 2, and now really has a good shot, going 2-0 so far for this morning.
Yeah, so we'll probably see them continue to do well the remainder of the day. It's still very early, and I do want to mention that there is going to be a lunch break coming soon here, I think next round. And we'll have an interview with Justin, the winner of the last match, coming in. I believe he's coming off the stage here and will be joining us shortly.
Yeah, we're going to go to a quick break, though, before we bring you that interview, and we'll be right back to talk to Justin about that amazing round 2 matchup.
All right, welcome back to the Collinsville VGC Regionals. I'm joined by the winner of the last round, round 2, Justin Crubaugh. I think I said that right?
You nailed it.
All right. Yeah, he and I go way back, so glad to be interviewing him after round 2. So how do you feel coming off that set?
I feel pretty good. I think I planned for that team, obviously, because Edu won with it, and it was a mirror match in the finals of Australia last weekend. So I obviously had a really good game plan. I'm just glad it worked out.
Yeah, it definitely seemed like your Xerneas was a little better protected than his, and with that Groudon, you kind of prepared for the stack attack if you wanted to bring it, you know?
Yeah.
Groudon EMZ in that game 2, definitely taking home the bacon, if you want to call it that way. Just demolished that Xerneas. I was actually expecting to hang on a little bit, but no, you just said that it's gone.
Yeah, man, it's strong, and nobody. Well, now they're gonna realize what it is because I was on stream. But coming into the tournament, nobody's really prepared for it because all of them tend to be careful with a berry or careful Swords Dance or something like that. So I wanted to mix it up and do something that they're probably not prepared for.
Right. And substitute on Groudon also very important for that matchup. Gonna stop all that Lovely Kiss, right? So. Speaking of Lovely Kiss, you didn't manage to hit a single one, right?
I mean, I attempted one, but he blocked it with the Leonard Crafty Shield, so...
Yeah, the Moody boosts were not also that kind to you, huh? Like, comparatively, Leonard got a bunch more boosts in his favor, but I guess he couldn't utilize them. And how do you feel about the Moody boosts there?
Well, game 2, actually, I started off better because I got the speed boost first, which forced him to reveal the Crafty Shield early, which I assumed he had. And then we both got evasion at the same time, so that was really fun. And then his just kept evading, and he hit his moves, unfortunately, after one dodge, and I missed a couple. And eventually I didn't even have to KO the Smeargle because of, I think, of how I managed the game situation.
Right. In game 2, you brought in Groudon when your own Smeargle went down instead of Incineroar, which... tell me a little bit about why you made that decision.
Yep, so I was playing an interesting game there. So knowing that he had the evasion boost, if Incineroar comes in, all he can do is fake out, and I have to hit the fake out, and then maybe hit a move with either Dazzling Gleam or Moonblast. And if he clicks Wide Guard, which has a higher priority, or the same priority as fake out, and he's faster than Incineroar, I have to hit the Moonblast, and then the Xerneas is going to be setting up for free. So I had to bring in Groudon and kind of pressure him, and I hadn't revealed Substitute in game 1, so I thought that was an ideal time to set up the Substitute, knowing that I could Moonblast his Xerneas and then Substitute, and if he Lovely Kiss the Groudon, I burn a turn of sleep and my Xerneas is awake, or he Follow Me's and I have a sub up, and then we're playing more mind games, and maybe the Moonblast hits the Smeargle. So it was just kind of playing the odds and what I could possibly do on the following
really
turn.
Expert control in that scenario, in that case. But yeah, I love that Groudon set. I've been trying it out a little bit myself, even though I don't plan on playing too much in this format. But Ground EMZ Substitute, really strong. If players are watching at home or maybe out there, I'm sure they'll know now, but you can definitely prepare for that, right?
Yeah, they can definitely prepare and know, but the fact that I know that they know, I get to know that. So
all right,
we'll just see how I manage the rest of the tournament. Only 5 more rounds.
Well, congrats on your round 2 victory. In that case, I'm going to let you off here and prepare for round 3. Although I think you've still got quite a bit of time after that quick 2-0.
Yeah, that was nice.
So nice to see you again back at it.
Thanks, John. It's good to see you, man.
Yeah,
I love seeing you.
Yeah, dude.
It's just a smiley, cute face.
Oh, thanks. It's a little pudgy, but it's my face.
Who doesn't like your face?
Well, we'll be back after a quick break with round 3, and we'll see you then.